Bitcoin has officially halved. What's next? What's up with Runes? We also have Kyle Langham, the data and analytics executive from Definity Labs, joining us to talk about the Bitcoin halving and AI running on ICP. We have a big upgrade happening from Stacks, one of the leading layer twos for Bitcoin. We're also going to take a look at some flows, the state of Ethereum, and what Robert Kennedy Jr. said he would do if he got elected president. We have that and much, much more to talk about today on this episode of Sin City Crypto. Let's get right into it.
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take old, boring, and sometimes stale information, but we repackage that whole thing up in a fun and sexy Sin City entertainment capital of the world kind of way. Also, speaking of Sin City Crypto, our studio is another leg forward. We're back into the main room here, so we got this nice blue light behind us.
Another leg forward, huh?
That's right. Yeah, you know, typically when you walk, it's one leg and the other. So soon we will have a
Never heard someone say that.
New desk coming. We got some other treats coming for the design of the studio as well. So pretty excited. About halfway through, so more to come.
Yeah. More money to spend.
Yes, that's correct.
Speaking of money, let's take a look at the flows. Well, real quick, what are your thoughts on the halving? Did you have a Bitcoin halving watch party?
Man, you know what? I did nothing. In the same way that nothing happened in the real world when it came to the halving. Unless you're a miner, really pretty insignificant, right? In the very, very, very short-term window. In that tiny little window where, hey, yesterday the rewards were X amount. How much was it per block?
It was 6.25.
6 points. Now it's 3.125.
125.
Yeah. So very, very minuscule change as far as the end user. It does create a supply shock or demand over time, and the miners are less profitable right now. Perhaps the difficulty will adjust because there's going to be some ASICs that are no longer profitable. And so post-halving, typically you do see some of the older, out-of-date ASICs that are not in profit anymore turn off. Because at the end of the day, it's going to cost more energy to mine Bitcoin than it does pay in rewards. So there you go.
Unless, of course, you got runes going on.
Runes. That has nothing to do with ASICs, but okay.
Well, kind of does, right? Because runes become popular, people start etching and minting, and then the transaction fees go up.
The fees will go up. Yeah, you know.
You see who popped in?
Who popped in?
The boy.
Who's my boy?
Boy DFib.
Oh, my boy DFib back. My boy DFib.
Been a while, man. We thought we lost you, DFib. We're happy to have you back. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin ETF flows. Did we finally get some green? No, we didn't. We saw another day of outflows. Actually, I lied. Friday, we saw inflows. So BlackRock came in with 29.3 million of inflows. Fidelity, 54.8 million. Everyone was in the green with the exception of Van Eck, saw 1.8 million in outflows. Grayscale, 45.8 million in outflows, the lowest we've seen since April 10th, where it was at 17.5, which brought our net flow to a positive $59.7 million. Take a look at this from CoinShares. So the flows for last week, 206 million of outflows as investors fret over interest rate expectations. 2 consecutive weeks of outflows for the crypto space. Take a look at the assets. What do they see? Well, Litecoin saw inflows of $3.2 million, which was the highest among the coins that are listed individually here. You do have a multi-asset one. Not sure what that's made of, but that's on inflow of 8.5 million. Chainlink, Polkadot, Avalanche, XRP, Algorand, and Cardano saw inflows. You had a goose egg from ICP, Decentraland, and Tron. And we saw Ethereum, 34 million of outflows. And Bitcoin, almost $200 million of outflows. And then this is kind of breaks down their exchange traded products, which we kind of just went over. And so we're kind of in this weird spot where, the halving was hyped. Oh, the halving. Well, the halving has come and gone. Well, what's next, right? What's next? What are your thoughts on the flows of the ETF? Do you think we're going to see another big run up, another big leg up? And then, obviously it'll take a lot less inflows to move the price, being that, we're no longer minting 6.25 Bitcoin per block. We're only doing 3.125. What are your thoughts on the flows going forward, heading into, let's say, the summertime? We are coming up on the month of May, which the saying goes, sell in May and go away. But things have been a little different this year, right? Usually we've seen April be a very, very positive month for Bitcoin. We started off like 18% in the red. What are your thoughts over the next 3 months? What do you forecast happening? Of course, this is just kind of speculation and kind of looking ahead a little bit. What are your thoughts?
Well, if history repeats itself, it's post-halving, somewhere between 3 and 6 months post-halving is when you really start to ramp up into the meat and potatoes of the bull market, when you get that parabolic run-up. And so are we going to find something similar, or is the narrative changed this time around? Because we have a situation where we have an ETF where you're drawing on the supply and the liquidity for the traditional markets surpass what we've seen in retail as far as the amounts, right? There's trillions of dollars of interest here on Wall Street, and the ETF is live. And so will we see a supply shock come from Wall Street and the ETFs? We got a taste of it in the first few months that the ETF was live. And I think that it's going to continue and speed up as well. So,
Robin, you used to do your Sunday streams, talk about more like personal stuff and business,
personal stuff,
motivation.
Yeah,
they say we all have there's a lion in everybody, right? Well, the lion in me is.
What is that?
It's so funny. It says motivational speaker. There's a lion in everyone. The lion in me.
You are so easily entertained.
They look more like a Lionel Rich.
Lionel Richie.
Okay. I didn't mention Mr. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., which, by the way, isn't that kind of weird? His whole family. So he's running for president. His whole family endorsed Joe Biden. Not laughing because they endorsed Joe Biden, but a family member here. You're. Anyways, this is what he said about what he would do if he became president.
I'm going to put the entire U.S. budget on blockchain so that every American can look at every budget item in the entire budget anytime they want, 24 hours a day.
No, the audio's a little, it's a little hard to understand. But what he's saying is, if he's elected president, he's going to put the entire United States government budget on the blockchain to where anyone at any point in time can go up there, look, see what they're spending money on, see how much money's in the pot, how much money's being paid in, how much money is going out. Is this kind of a pipe dream, or do you think this kind of, makes sense?
Can you actually do it and roll it out and not?
It's a pipe dream.
Yeah, it's not really.
Sounds good in theory, right?
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. And to us in the crypto world, hey, why not put all government spending on the blockchain?
Turn it into a DAO. Let us vote.
No, stop. Now you're getting carried away. But I mean, honestly, if we could have it in a system that was transparent, available, and accessible 24 hours a day, and every transaction is accounted for and has a rhyme or reason, you could see where your spending is going, right? It's like that degenerate guy that is married and takes his paycheck and spends it on God knows what, and his wife has no idea where the money is going.
Stop talking about me, Dan.
And so the wife has no idea where the money is going.
Stop it.
But yet, if she had access to the bank account and she could see where the transactions were going, her eyes would be open.
My wife watches
the
the
veil
show,
would
damn
be
it.
lifted. And so, that's the problem with politics today, especially government spending, is the unknown is the problem, right? Where is the money going? Where is our taxes going? And through confusion, through spending, through all the massive programs, and the people at the top don't even know what is getting spent. And
they lose track of billions of dollars.
They literally do. And so from an accounting standpoint, a transparency standpoint, blockchain makes so much sense. However, this is a world system that has been slightly altered over time, year after year. It's been changed and accommodated to fit the financial system that operates globally. And so to change it over, to move government spending from where we're at now in these outdated systems to blockchain is a daunting task that is unrealistic in any kind of short-term window. But hats off to you, Mr. Kennedy. I think it's a very progressive idea. I think it makes a lot of sense. And, well, if anything, it puts the government spending bullet, puts an eye on it, right? It puts a target on accountability. But yeah, I just don't know. And to answer your question earlier, his family's a Democrat. He was running as a Democrat. Now he's third party, and so it's no surprise they endorse that his family endorses Joe Biden. But not much there, man. Not much there.
Speaking of accountability, 2 SEC lawyers have been pushed out of the agency after the SEC was censured in a crypto case. The judge sanctioned the regulator for gross abuse of power in March. And Zero Hedge, I agree with your question. How has Gary Gensler not resigned yet? You know what's funny? And let me see if I can find this real quick. Gary Gensler, I think he was trolling the crypto community because he put out a tweet or a post, and this is it right here. It's been an honor to serve as the SEC chair. Over the past 3 years, I've seen firsthand how incredible staff at SEC serves investors and issuers alike. A thread, and then that was it. So people read this and thought that he was resigning. He fooled all of us. Look at that. The troll master, Gary Gensler. So, but it's good to see that
he has investors and the good of the people at hand, right? It's in best interest of the everyday,
the absolute best interest
investor.
There's no interest best
investor protection. Yeah,
there's no better protector of us than Gary,
the man carrying the shield. He's the Captain America
now
of finance.
Who is the Bonnie to Gary Gensler Clyde? It is Elizabeth Warren, and she wants to put a 1% wealth tax on Bitcoin holdings exceeding $500,000. So all you Bitcoin whales, yeah.
It's funny how she wants to ban it, and now all of a sudden she wants to profit from it. It's like, this thing is a scam. Can we get our cut? We want to get rid of this thing. But hold on, let me get some.
We also have this. The New York Stock Exchange is considering 24/7 trading. I don't know if this is a good idea.
What do you mean it's not a good idea? What outdated system?
I don't know.
What services on this planet operate Monday through Friday nowadays? Banks, which are outdated, need to be replaced.
Insurance companies.
I can call
Chick-fil-A.
I can call State Farm 24 hours a day. Have you seen the commercials?
Yeah, I have.
Anyways, yes, it's time, man. You know what? Why in this digital age can we not transact, trade stocks 24/7. Historically, yes, it made sense. You had to write down on a piece of paper, hey, I'm selling this stock. Another person, hey, I'm buying the stock, and then you go give it to the
Broker.
the brokers, and then they would settle that. Now, obviously, if that's the system, people have to walk into work, clock in and clock out, and well, you got to have hours and hours of operation. So Monday through Friday makes sense. We're no longer in that age. Who the hell is buying anything in a analog system? No longer are we living this age. Everything is done on your app. You go on your Fidelity app, your Webull, your Robinhood. You buy your stocks there. You even buy them in the middle of the night now, and it doesn't settle till the opening bell. So, I mean, why not just let this thing?
There's a
open up
lot of
24 hours?
news and financial statements that get released on Friday after trading hours because they know how fickle the markets are. So you're going to have a 24/7 stock exchange where these investors and traders, every little piece of news, they panic over and panic sell.
Let me ask you a question. Let's go way out. Let's go way, way, way out. 100 years from now, will the stock exchange be a Monday through Friday operation?
No.
Okay. So then why wait? And I'm saying that the reason I asked that question is that eventually you're going to get there, right? Eventually you're going to transition over in the same way that, like, if you have a company, eventually you're going to have some social media account. Eventually you're going to do marketing. And so eventually the stock exchange is going to have to go 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just the reality of it, because you know what? The rest of the world is going to invest every hour of the day and trade every hour of the day. And if the stock exchange doesn't, they'll be passed by competitors, perhaps Hong Kong, perhaps Singapore, maybe Japan. But so yeah, you got to be competitive, right?
The U.S. markets are not being surpassed by anyone.
I'm talking about in the long term, right? And yeah, we can giggle about it now. The thing is the United States and the dollar is not going to be at the top of the hill or king of everything, finance, for eternity, right? We're seeing that we're spending massive amount of money. We just passed a $60 billion spending bill, which we just airdropped a bunch of money to Israel and Ukraine and what was the other one?
Sin City Crypto.
Yeah, Sin City Crypto. But the thing is that we're just recklessly spending money. Inflation is ramping up and getting ever more hard to service our own debt. And unless there's some major change where we prioritize the deficit, we prioritize not accruing more debt, and we try to balance the budget, anything short of that, we're just going to accelerate the fiscal problems that we have. And
our government is allergic to those two words, balance and budget.
Yeah. So with that said, at some point the system's going to break, right? You can only leverage so much debt before eventually
break the system more.
Eventually,
the stock
it
market
completely
24/7.
breaks, or you find yourself in some hyperinflation scenario. So it's one or the other. So at some point, the monetary and fiscal system that we have is going to collapse.
Yeah, let's just ramp it up by doing 24/7.
And so eventually, someone else is going to,
good idea,
step
Robert.
up.
Yeah, let's just
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this big update here. The Nakamoto update has begun rolling out on Stacks, the popular layer 2 for BTC, as Bitcoin block 840,360. The first fork kicked off the two-step rollout process that will bring us the Nakamoto upgrade. Now, Stacks is pretty much all they're known for is being a Bitcoin L2. You have other Bitcoin solutions like ICP, of course, which we have Kyle joining us in a little bit. We're going to talk about the Halving and AI and ICP. But I did a video this morning on the Nakamoto upgrade. And so if you want more information on that, how it's going to make Stacks better, you definitely want to watch that video. Also, big news. Robin, does this make you more bullish? Terra Classic is reducing block size to tackle scams. The irony in this headline, huh?
I miss Terra Classic.
No, you don't.
I do.
No, you don't.
I mean, the amount of parabolic run up and there was no shortage of media personalities, YouTube fans.
Did you buy the dip on the way down?
No, I did not. There was no shortage of media personalities that were so giddy about the technology of it's an algorithm. It balances itself. And well, shame on you. And I kind of bought into the hopium a little bit, but I never got exposure to Terra Luna. Did you?
I had a little bit.
Did you?
But I sold it around $80 on the way up, not on the way down. I mean, when you're offering 20% and you look around everywhere, you're like,
good deal, man.
3%, 4%, 4%. Here's the thing. If something is too good to be true, right? Or you're looking around like, why is no one else doing it? They're probably taking some risks that you wouldn't want to have exposure to. But what you do want to have exposure to is our channel sponsor, Cam's Blue Wire Technology. If you run a business, want to maximize your networking, IT, and cybersecurity, Cam's Blue Wire Tech is a great company that can help guide you. They were pivotal in our change from a regular setup to a 4K stream. So if you want more information on how they can help your company, visit bluewiretech.com or click the link in the description of this video. We've been putting out a lot of ICP content over the last 2-3 months. It's one of those projects from a anecdotal, standpoint of you start digging in and learning and reading and watching videos and understanding what the product and what the technology is. And you're kind of taken aback at what it can do. And then it just creates more excitement. You start learning more. And I feel like a lot of people are starting to do that, which is why I'm super excited to have Kyle Langham from the Dfinity Foundation joining us today. Let's go ahead and patch him in. Kyle, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on the show.
Kyle, thank you so much for joining us. This is our first time meeting. So I'm David. The other gentleman next to me is Robin. We run the Sin City Crypto podcast here. Again, we are super excited to have you. The Bitcoin halving has come and gone. Did your Bitcoin portfolio get cut in half like mine did?
Yeah, I thought that was what was supposed to happen. So I'm waiting. I think I haven't been updated yet. My account balance.
You got to hit refresh on your portfolio, okay?
Yeah.
Kyle, the Bitcoin halving obviously happens once every 4 years. There's a lot of hype usually around it. We did have with this halving, we had something called runes. So we saw ordinals come through. We saw the BRC20 tokens, and now runes, which we can assume are going to be a large part of the reason, or were a large part of the reason why the transaction fee skyrocketed on Bitcoin. What's your outlook on that trend moving forward and the importance of this halving in regard to where Bitcoin is today with, things like the ETF and more institutions coming in?
Yeah, I mean, I like to think of Bitcoin through the lens of the epochs, right? So, the last halving occurred 4 years ago. The fourth epoch was what followed directly after that. And you could almost categorize that as adoption, right? That entire epoch. It started with El Salvador accepting Bitcoin as legal tender. So you had nation state adoption. And then it ended with Wall Street adoption with the ETFs. And so when you think about Bitcoin from that perspective, then you think, well, okay, what's the next epoch going to be all about? And I think now we're starting to get to the point of the build on Bitcoin movement where people are building it's almost like crypto's moving back home to the OG. And I think that's really going to lead to consumer products that, my mom and dad might potentially use in the future. So getting actually mass adoption, getting billions of users on Bitcoin. Whether or not that's runes specifically, I don't know. The market will decide that. But it is an example of products being built or protocols, standards, whatever you want to define it by, being built on Bitcoin that are really geared towards mass adoption. So I'm excited. I saw the fee spike high. And I know here at ICP, we're going to be, we're well positioned to leverage this epoch. So
I'm so happy you brought that up, Kyle. I want to share a post from you on X. CK Bitcoin minters waking up this morning and realizing they can still send Bitcoin for 10 Satoshis. We do have when people think of Bitcoin layer 2, they might think of stacks. They might think of ICP. We're probably going to get a lot more, blockchains and dApps that launch that say, hey, we're a layer 2 solution of Bitcoin. What makes ICP's chain key Bitcoin unique compared to what is already in the market? And how are you guys making sure that you continue to stay at the forefront as more of these dApps and more of these other solutions start to come into the space as Bitcoin's DeFi and space continues to grow?
Yeah. So actually, to understand ICP's relationship with Bitcoin, it's good to just step back and understand how we've gotten to where we are. On ICP, so ICP is generally, we're called a Generation 3 blockchain. We're trying to replace AWS, not Ethereum, right? So we want applications hosted 100% on chain. We want developers who've noticed like the blockchain can provide innovative product beyond just what the traditional internet tech stack can provide today. And so Bitcoin integration was just a natural way for us to go in terms of allowing internet apps to talk with Bitcoin, allowing smart contracts to talk with Bitcoin. What we did was we got a full Bitcoin node running on our protocol. Or, I'm sorry, a light node running on the protocol. And then we used what's called threshold ECDSA in order for a smart contract on ICP to hold a Bitcoin private key. So now an ICP smart contract can read and write directly to Bitcoin. One of the types of products you can build with that is a layer 2 payment system, similar to Lightning, similar to what Stacks is going to have with SBTC. That's our CKBTC product that launched over a year ago. And so what makes it so unique, 10 sats per transaction. There's no intermediaries. So it's just ICP protocol talking directly with Bitcoin. There's no third party involved in those transactions. Those third parties tend to be where the hacks, where the scams, where everything bad happens. So we've removed that. But then also you get programmability. So you can do really cool, fun things with these integrations that are innovative. One good example, you mentioned runes. We have an ordinals collection on ICP called Motoko Sentinels. It launched right before the halving. And one of the things that's going to happen with this collection is it's going to mint runes as part of owning the ordinal. You're going to have runes. The creators of the collection have started hinting that those runes are going to have gamification added to it. And so these are just kind of innovative ideas that people can leverage on top of Bitcoin using ICP.
You brought up the word innovative. That's the first thing I think about when I think about ICP. I'm just like so taken aback with what you guys are doing as far as keeping everything on chain. You take a look at a lot of people don't know that a lot of these web hosting services, I think like 99% of blockchains have to leverage something like Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud, whereas on ICP, everything happens on chain. And I'm happy you brought up the point that, when you have that middleman, that bridge or that wrapped Bitcoin, there's always a chance of the hack. And so it's great to know that people can enter into the Bitcoin ecosystem through internet computer without having to worry about some intermediary messing something up or a line of code being off.
Yeah. So when we say everything on chain, I mean, that's everything. That's Web2 APIs, that's front ends. Bitcoin itself and this used to be a problem that Bitcoiners talked about, but then it's kind of been pushed to the wayside. So back in like 2018, 2019, the idea of having front ends hosted on chain was something Bitcoiners were looking for. Because that is an attack vector, right? If let's say you're a government agency and you want to shut down Bitcoin, you don't necessarily have to shut it down at the miners or the nodes. You could shut down the on and off ramps. And so if all your apps are hosted on AWS, all your Bitcoin apps are hosted on AWS, then it just takes one phone call from, let's say, a government agency to AWS to say, let's shut those down, right? That's a point of centralization. So having everything on chain solves that, right? Having a decentralized hosting service makes it so that it's more censorship resistant, more tamper proof, and that benefits all of crypto. In addition to that, if you put things 100% on chain, what you can then do is basically package up an entire application, put it under the control of a DAO. So then a DAO controls the code 100%. So the ownership of these applications can be distributed as well. We've seen examples like social media apps like OpenChat, which is like a Telegram type app, is fully decentralized. It's 100% of its code is under the control of a DAO that is permissionless. And then we have, there's probably 20 or so examples of this that have already been deployed on the internet computer.
Yeah. Kyle, I want to shift this conversation to artificial intelligence. when ChatGPT launched, or when OpenAI launched ChatGPT, it seemed like every new project that's launching, or they want to throw AI and tag AI into their name and what we're doing. Dominic Williams, the chief scientist at Dfinity, did a demo about showing the first time ever a smart contract was able to be ran completely by AI, 100% on the blockchain. That was, I believe, 3-4 weeks ago. He did mention this thing is going to get faster. And I want to share this post here from Dominic. Said, the team has accelerated deterministic floating point instructions by 10x. We continue on our mission to run sophisticated large language models as smart contracts. What are some unique things that we'll be able to see happening on the internet computer with AI and running smart contracts? And then what's kind of the forecast here? What are you guys most excited about?
Oh my gosh, there's how much time do I have for this?
As much time as you need.
Let's start with let's just start fundamentally. Where Dfinity comes out in AI is that 100% of the development and deployment of AI needs to move to the blockchain. That is an ambitious goal. When you think about the fact that we've only recently gotten to a hardware state and software state for running Web 2 AI, like a ChatGPT, we're already ambitious that we want to start getting everything to the blockchain. So a couple of those things, right? Part of that is data. You need to be able to store gigabytes and gigabytes, maybe even terabytes of data on chain. We're moving towards that. And then if you move towards training data, right then you'll have to have a subnet of GPUs, right? So we're creating a subnet of GPUs that you can actually do decentralized training on. And then finally, you get into things like being able to run an inference engine. That's what Dom has started to show. He showed a neural network running on chain. I know he's going to start showing a lot more of those kind of examples of models actually running from chain. And then again, we talked to the front end. The need to decentralize the front end is also very important. When you think about AI and decentralized AI, there's a couple different reasons why you might want to, why we as a society should be super interested in this. I like to summarize it by just saying, if you know the alignment problem is how do we align AI to have human values, which is the plot of many sci-fi movies of AI, going rogue. Well, how do we align it to human values? I think now that we're getting to the point of we're getting closer to AGI, the question is really becoming more nuanced in whose human values are we going to align AI to? Right now, we're moving towards, we as a society, it's looking like we've taken steps towards, the CEOs of Google and the CEO of OpenAI and Microsoft, that these are the people who are going to align AI to. Well, what do you do in that? How do you switch that so that we have AI aligned to actually a diverse set of opinions and backgrounds and culture? Well, democracy is the best way to do that, right? We've already seen that from a nation state standpoint, that democracy helps aggregate a wide diversity in thought and opinion. Well, the way to democratize AI is by decentralizing it, putting it on the blockchain, and then putting a DAO over top of it. If we do that, not only does it solve the alignment problem and add democracy to control of AI, but it also unlocks a lot of other use cases for AI that maybe we can go into if you guys are interested.
Yeah. So I'm curious just on what your general thoughts are. We've seen this convergence of AI projects concentrating into one token. I'm sure you've heard of it with Fetch AI, Singularity, and then also Ocean Protocol. 3 separate AI protocols coming together to pool resources to create a AI centralized blockchain or more, centralizing their resources. Do you find this as a net positive for the crypto and blockchain, or are you a little apprehensive of the move and you think that it might not bode well for the AI space? Or what's your knee-jerk reaction to the 3 coming together?
Back a couple months ago, Singularity.net and Dfinity entered into a partnership. We feel fully comfortable with Singularity.net. In terms of, you asked how comfortable do I feel? I would say it this way: the the status quo for where the AI industry is heading towards is through 100% centralization, right? Again, you're seeing strong players enter the space. They're dominating the markets. And they're taking advantage of their massive resources and their network, network effects to control the space. So anything beyond that, anything moving towards a more decentralized standpoint is great, in my opinion. But I do think that there's opportunity for additional players in the space. I think there's opportunity for small dev teams to build in the space and create products that maybe find product market fit that are also decentralized. I think there's also space for additional players to enter into DAI as well. So, I mean, in my opinion, as long it's great for what Singularity.net is doing with Fetch and with Ocean, and I hope it is an example that many other people are going to follow it, and that we're not just going to end up with a centralization towards decentralization, I guess is probably what
And then
better way to say it.
so just to expand on the AI kind of narrative here, is there any end products that the end user, the person that is a fan of ICP or someone that just closely follows Dfinity, is there a product they're going to be able to use in smart contracts? Say, hey, you know what? I don't need this image, the Chat GPT. I can use a product hosted by Dfinity, for example, or perhaps one of those one of the image or video generating generative models as well. Those tend to be pretty popular. You got music. Is there any end product that we could play around with that your team is perhaps finalizing for something we could play with?
Well, I mean, Dfinity's posting the code for every demo that Dom does. Those are public GitHub repos. So, but to us, what Dfinity does is only we're interested in just basically showing what's possible to attract innovators and developers into the space. In terms of if you want to check stuff out today, I'd recommend check out elna.ai, elna.ai. It's a app that some developers they've been working on it over. I know last summer they actually got a Llama 2 model running on a smart contract on the internet computer. So they were kind of like the front edge of actually getting LLMs running on chain. And now they have an app that, this actually might be the wrong one.
Is this?
I'm giving you guys the wrong website.
No. I got the right one. Rocco, pull up mine. There we go.
There it is. Yeah. So they have a marketplace where you can build your own chatbot and then basically charge a token for people to use their chatbot. They're also trying to expand into a full service platform where anyone can build an LLM chatbot that is trained on data that lives on chain, so it can be held private, and then it's easily transactable. They're an interesting case. They've fully turned over their code base to a DAO, so anyone can join that DAO as well. There's a couple other projects. There's a project called Tracks, although I don't remember their website off the top of my head, for music. Mod Club is an interesting one that has gone live with content moderation through AI. And then Kinic.ai, I believe, is another website, KINIC. They've done two things. One is they've created a platform for people to host vector databases. So vector databases are probably the most important type of database for AI trainings. So you can host your data fully on chain on Kinic. And they're also exploring this idea of zero knowledge machine learning, which is pretty groundbreaking and forward thinking on their part. So, but my whole point though is that this isn't just like hey, we're at the demo stage of applications. Like, people are building and deploying applications on the internet computer, and in many of those cases, I just said, those applications are already getting traction and have market caps. I don't know, in the tens of millions of dollars.
Awesome. Kyle, I guess I'll end it with this. What are you personally most excited about in 2024 that you're just excited about to see it roll out? Maybe share some alpha with us that Share
Alpha. Okay. Yeah. So for me, I've specifically, I'll start this by saying I'm tired of how gated and walled off we've become within crypto.
Yeah.
I think that actually is one of the biggest risks to our industry. And that if we don't tear down those gates and those walls, we actually have an existential risk on our hands. Great example of just you have the need to have a token to use an application on chain is completely mind-boggling that we've gone down this way. It would be the same way as like if you every time you did a Google search, you had to pay Google a fraction of a penny. That like user experience is awful. It gates people off from being able to move across applications and across chains. So the solution to that is what ICP is doing. I already talked about the Bitcoin integration. We have an Ethereum integration out on testnet that will go live actually probably in the next few weeks. We'll have Solana integration by the end of the summer. And then honestly, actually from there, we could pretty much just integrate with any single chain. What that does is allows a developer to build an application. Either they can build a brand new application on the internet computer, or they can build an extension of their existing application, but build that extension on the internet computer. And once they do that, then they can actually attract users and liquidity from every single blockchain. And then more importantly, they can create a user experience in which it doesn't really matter which chain you're coming from. Like whether, if you're big on Matic and you have a ton of Matic coin, like you should be able to spend that to buy a Bitcoin ordinal, that kind of stuff. And so what I think is going to happen by the end of this year is you're going to start to see these applications built on the internet computer that it doesn't matter what coin you have. It doesn't matter if you have Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana. You're going to use you're going to use the apps as if that app was built specifically for you or your coin. But what you're not going to really care about is the fact that everyone else is having that same user experience. So it's going to create a much better user experience. I think it'll unite most of crypto so that we don't have these walled gardens. But then even more importantly, it's step one of a process to create user experiences in Web3 that rival Web2 user experiences. As crypto stands today, my mom will never use it. My sister will never use it. My brother will never use it. My dad's never going to use it. I want to get to the point to where I'm no longer weird in my family for talking about crypto. I want mass adoption for my whole family.
I know that feeling of being looked at as weird. You bring up so many good points.
You are a little weird. No.
I am a little weird. I 100% agree with you. One of my biggest things with crypto is it's just not practical. So naturally, I am drawn as an investor to projects that are looking to break those barriers to entry down. And I know I said I was going to end it at that, but I do have one follow-up question, Kyle. The whole narrative of interoperability has become a big thing. You have, something like Chainlink with their CCIP. You have like Near Protocol with chain abstraction. What gives ICP the upper leg? I guess like maybe pitch why ICP is a better solution for interoperability than what the rest of the I don't want to say competitors, but the rest of the market is really doing.
Yeah, it's so let me just say, like, I love what Chainlink's doing. I love what Near's doing. For most of ICP's history, we've been out on this Gen 3 blockchain on our own. Nobody else has been kind of doing this. Everyone's been focused on their own chain as its own L1, whereas we've been pursuing this vision we call the world computer vision, but it's really like a total layer 0 vision. So having additional partners or additional, call them competitors if you want, having additional competitors enter the space really only validates that we've been in the right space the whole time. You have also Arweave with AO has entered into the space. So all it did was validate our vision. So I'm really excited about that. In terms of what makes ICP different, well, first of all, we've been doing this for 3 years now, so we've got a 3-year head start. Second of all, you can host 100% on chain. Nobody else is even coming close to that. I know Arweave's AO is their vision is to get there, and so hopefully they do at some point. But then the third thing again is we never started off as like a layer 1 blockchain or what you might call a Gen 2 blockchain, and now are pivoting to a Gen 3 blockchain. We started as a Gen 3 blockchain from the very start. So we're not just adding, we're not like basically Frankensteining our platform in order to achieve this vision. So I think a couple of those things like developer quality of life, you're going to find it's just a lot easier to work on the internet computer because this has been our vision all along. I think number two is you're going to be able to build user experiences using that, again, like the direct Bitcoin integration is different. And you're going to be able to build out user experiences and build out innovative products that you're just not going to be able to build on other things because it's a complete total solution. It's not just a one-off where we're trying to accomplish some one specific goal like chain abstraction. We're actually just trying to make it so that you have a platform where you can build out whatever product it is, whatever Web3 product it is that you're hard to set on. So.
Yeah, I see a lot of funny memes like, we're doing this. It's like, well, we've kind of been doing that for like the last 2 years. Or, oh, this is like the new thing. Well,
liquid staking.
We've been doing
here.
that for, yeah. So.
I mean, I'll say, if you want to know, so one of the things I was laughing about, I was at ETH Denver and just talking with some of the other players. And if you want to see where the industry is going to go, just look at what Dfinity and ICP are doing today. Back in 2022, we released Bitcoin integration. The market, splash within the market was very muted because nobody was thinking about building on Bitcoin at the time. That really just wasn't a thing. And then Ordinals came along and made it a thing, and we were well positioned for that. We've been working towards this idea of like a Gen 3 blockchain for 3 years and being able to talk. Be able to read and write to every single chain, every single blockchain. We've been working on that for 3 years. And now you're starting to see other people are saying, this is actually a good space to be in. You can see it with passkeys. We've had passkey login for 3 years now on all of the, any app that wants to do that on the internet computer can do so easily. And all of a sudden now you've seen Coinbase entering and saying, hey, we're doing passkeys on our base chain. And we're kind of just like, well, we've been doing that for 3 years. It's not novel. Kudos to you guys, but it's not novel. It's something we've been doing. And there's dozens of examples of that where we've just been ahead of the curve. And I think we'll continue to be looking at our roadmap for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I've seen that ICP's got a big footprint in Portugal as well. I'm Portuguese, and our slogan here is "Olá," spelled the Portuguese way. And so yeah, we've seen some news here. ICP has the Portugal Hub, and also ICP kicks off the Portugal Hackathon to drive ecosystem adoption. And so pretty excited about that. Native Portuguese person here myself. And so if you ever need a translator or someone to go there and speak a little Portuguese.
He wants a free trip to Portugal,
That's
Kyle.
it.
Don't fall into the trap here, okay?
Yeah, there you go.
Obrigado.
Oh, we got it. That's right. Kyle, thank you so much for joining us. It was such a pleasure to talk to you, my friend. We look forward to bringing you on again. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you again.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kyle.
All right.
Take care.
I miss going to Portugal. We got these little cakes. They're
Yeah, we have
pastéis
pastéis.
natas.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
man, they're so
yeah.
good, man. Every little coffee shop's got one, man. Every single one, man.
Okay.
You can't walk more than 500 feet and running into one.
Get the alpha on Portuguese pastries here.
Yes, that's right.
Go ahead, Rob.
Can we tokenize those things?
Sure.
Yeah. If you are new here, say hello. We'd love to give you a shout out, a hello, hola. We got Yusuha, Cardano Mint,
Yes.
Crypto 99, Marcus B, Trust Analyze Jr., and RXB Jr. So, to all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
There's no N. It's Trust the Lies.
Trust the lies.
Trust the Lies.
And I put Jr. on the end of Trust the lies, but
Trust the Lies is Junior.
Trust the lies.
Anyways, Bitcoin. Let's talk about BTC here a little bit. Then we get into the markets. So, Bitcoin may be due for a surge. It's from Bitcoin News.
Oh.
As the MVRV ratio dips below its 90-day average again, historically, this has led to a 67% gain on average. Let's see what a 67% gain would take us. Of course, we're just speculating here. So let's just say from the opening of this candle, 67%, and I gotta zoom out a little bit. 67% would bring us to $243. When, Robin? When?
$108,000 Bitcoin?
Yeah.
By the end of the year? By the end of the summer?
We thought the halving was going to push it up to 100, but we were wrong. I don't think the Grayscale selling, I think, threw a lot of people off. But their new Grayscale mini ETF only has a 15 basis point fee, which is the lowest in the industry. So they're looking to move around 60,000 Bitcoin or $60 million, one of the two, from the GBTC into their mini Bitcoin ETF. And so, yeah. But taking a look at the Bitcoin here, where are we at? Well, we did have a break of structure on the 1 hour, which is typically bullish, but we are getting rejected off of this 66.7 zone. But a potential kind of a cup and handle, I guess, on the hour chart here. If we do start to tend to dip down, and we do get a break, above, if we take the measured move here from our handle, we should maybe see a $67,000 Bitcoin. But the sentiment looks like it is changing. We were at our fear and greed for a while, was in the 70s and 80s. We're currently at 62. The markets have cooled off. The funding rates have reset. So a lot of people are becoming more bullish on Bitcoin. The rest of the markets here, we have Ethereum coming in at $3,194. BNB at $596. Solana starting to gain some traction again, up 13% on the 7-day at $154. XRP at 54.7 cents.
I saw Near Protocol ripping this morning.
It's up.
One of the biggest gainers.
It's up 17%.
Yeah, absolutely. One of our favorite projects here, something that we have a lot of exposure to. A big move today. So
Near flip Polygon. ICP on its initial run up before this little pullback here did flip Polygon, but Polygon reflipped it. The reflippening. And so many good projects here that we believe are still pretty undervalued. And so the market sentiment, I believe, is starting to change a little bit. The volume is down to 68.3 billion. Bitcoin dominance is at 53.7%, with ETH dominance dropping under 16%.
ETH is really slipping to Bitcoin lately. It's been painful to hold ETH when compared to Bitcoin. And, that's always the best measure to say, hey, is it worth holding this altcoin? And at the end of the day, if you're better off holding Bitcoin than you are said altcoin, we know the direction of Bitcoin. It's up and to the right over the next 10 years. And so there's going to be hard pressed to find anything that'll outperform it. We do like to snipe out some short-term plays that will probably outperform Bitcoin in the short term, simply because of their market cap and the adoption of these said cryptos. Near Protocol, ICP, Ethereum was in that basket. I still hold a lot of weight to ETH because ETH is king in DeFi, NFTs, and smart contracts and liquidity and staking. And it's just a little surprising to see that it hasn't moved. I haven't gave up my position on Ethereum and its position in the market. I do think that we're going to get a giant ETH rally coming up, and maybe an ETF approval is it. I know the chances are looking very grim right now. I know that everything is pointing to a denial on the ETH ETF, but if, let's just say, that does get approved, also you have the Ethereum ETF going live in Hong Kong later this month as well. And so, yes, that got approved in Hong Kong, but it still hasn't started trading. Will we see a surge in liquidity there in those markets? Because I think a lot of people in the Asian markets are a little bit more progressive when it comes to Ethereum than we are here in States.
ETH has been bleeding against Bitcoin technically since December of 2021, right?
Yeah.
We tried to make a higher high back in September of 2022, but we failed, and we've been bleeding off ever since. And I do want to share this article here from AMB Crypto, all about the state of Ethereum after Bitcoin's halving. Ethereum daily staking drops. So AMB Crypto's examination of Ethereum staking chart showed a significant downturn in the volume of new stakes over the past few days. And at the time of writing, the volume of new stakes was 31,400, marking a decline of over 80,000. You can see that chart. Also, outflows dominate the Ethereum flow trend. On the 18th of April, ETH encountered an outflow exceeding 144,800, marking one of the largest outflows recently. You can see here that big red bar. And then we have this, as Rob kind of mentioned, Ethereum ETF approvals unlikely in May, top analysts warn.
Yeah,
ETH is in an interesting spot, right? You know, I have said I don't think we're going to see the 20% dominance on ETH anymore. I think it's going to be closer to that 8 to 10%. As more of the chains grow, as more value starts moving around, as better solutions, let's just face it, better solutions to Ethereum are coming out and kind of grabbing their market share. You have like Solana, Near, ICP. So
I'll say this.
Are we going to see diminished returns for Ethereum?
It's not looking good. Honestly, I put it this way. If you haven't gotten position on Ethereum yet, maybe right now might be the one opportunity, because if the price goes any higher, I just don't I don't see the risk versus return. I think it's going to struggle against Bitcoin. I still think it'll outperform, but maybe because it's at discount now, right? Compared to the price of Bitcoin. And so even then I'd be a little apprehensive. I think there's just too much value further down the crypto options when it comes to layer ones. And then on another note, if this ETF gets denied, it's going to be very interesting what's going to happen with crypto. The SEC and
SEC will get
Grayscale, we're assuming will file.
So will BlackRock.
Yeah. But definitely Grayscale. And why do we say Grayscale? Because that's the play-by-play that we saw with the Bitcoin ETF. We assume the same thing will happen. And so it'll get denied. If it gets denied, Grayscale will sue the SEC. It'll go to court. There's really not much difference between the lawsuit that the Bitcoin lawsuit had versus the Ethereum. Sure, there's a staking protocol to staking mechanism to the Ethereum blockchain, but at the end of the day, the rhyme or reason why the ETF was denied, it's going to be pretty damn similar. So it's going to be hard for a court to find one product. The Bitcoin ETF should be available as an ETF spot product, but Ethereum isn't. I think it's going to be hard for the SEC to make that case. And so I think that the SEC will lose another court case, and which will then force the SEC to pass the Ethereum ETF. Maybe not this time around, but here in the near future, maybe a year from now, who knows?
It's like forcing your kids to eat food they don't want to eat.
Or the SEC can just not go through this whole damn thing.
Or Gary Gensler comes
and they can just approve it, right?
No.
Just say, hey, you know what? We're going to get sued. We're going to lose this thing. It's pretty obvious. Any legal advisor would tell you, like, yeah, you're probably not going to win that case. Too much precedence, too similar to the one you already lost. And so
two lawyers did just get fired from the SEC.
Why not just simply approve the damn thing? It's not too late.
It's not too late.
Gary Gensler, we reach out to you. Do what's right. Approve the spot ETF for Ethereum, and let's
got a better idea. Just tire, man.
Like of all crypto is so full of scams, rug pulls, and celebrities that are building stuff that don't really do anything, and they're just simply just dumping on their own fans. There's so much of that in the space. Like, go after one of those. Go after some project that is literally stealing money from people. And how about we stop going after projects that are actually trying to innovate and build the future of technology and finance? That's what I ask of you, Gary.
What I like to ask of my producer is to give one more thank you to Cam's Blue Wire Technology. If you want to learn how they can help your business scale and grow, visit bluewiretech.com. Also, guys, we hope you enjoy the content today. Big thank you to Kyle again from Definity Foundation. That's all I got. Anyone else got anything else they want to?
No, that's it, man. Yeah.
We're excited for you guys to see the final product here in the studio. It's gonna look sick. Anyways, with that being said, Rocco. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We hope you had a great weekend. We're excited for the week ahead. Make sure to come back tomorrow. Same place, same time. On behalf of all of us here at Sins of Crypto, we love you guys. Till tomorrow. Peace.
Crypto. Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you the pot with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I split the game, but they gave it. Named according to your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy the dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming, hola, till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the finger tornado close ya.